Titan Quest II dropped in early access and I've already lost an hour and half my inventory space. Let me show you the 5 moments that convinced me this ARPG revival is worth keeping an eye on. Even before you click a single skeleton, Titan Quest II flexes its mythic muscles. The opening narration sets the Greco-drama stakes higher than a Sparta's spear budget. Character presets look surprisingly modern, but old habits die hard. I chugged my first health potion while trying to move with WASD. Classic. The character presets are nice. Like, I remember the original game, of course, this is going back almost more than 10 years. There wasn't a lot of choices with characters, but this game definitely, there's a lot of skin types, there's a lot of skin colors, there's a lot of body types. I went with someone who looks very close to me, though probably is much stronger in real life. I didn't look at the lady side of the thing, so if someone has looked at it, please let me know down in the comments. Here's the first real adrenaline spike. The Griffin cult torched the village for the 3rd time this month. Apparently myths repeat faster than Netflix reboots. Crowd control with my new ice shard turned the cult leader into a snow cone. So this is like the first real cool fight. The whole time I was starting the game, I was struggling with like, do I want to do bow? Do I want to do ice or magic, right? Because I played Avowed and I did the bow. And then I played Dragon Age Veilguard and I used the bow. And I wanted to use more magic. Veilguard had a bit more of magic in it. Avowed was definitely very narrow in terms of the builds you could use. I started off with a bow, and then I didn't really understand how to do it, and I'll talk more about that later. And I went with magic, and then I went back to the bow, but it was a bit confusing in the beginning. Again, this is only version 0.1, so again, totally understandable. Exploration already pays. Behind a fake wall, I found my first rare loot explosion. Blues everywhere, and a helmet that finally matched my energy barrier build. So again, loot is the name of the game in this game, and I was a bit worried about that. I played another game, Path of Exile 2, and I kind of felt there wasn't a lot of loot there or a lot of like cool loot. But immediately within the first 1 hour and 11 minutes, which is how long I played Titan Quest 2, I got a bunch of loot and I got my first blue, which is, in the game it says magical loot, and there are some effects there that you can use to sort of start building out your build the way you want. So I was super happy that I got some stuff. Again, this is the beginning of the game, and again, version 0.1. There wasn't a lot of build variety in the loot that I got. I got my standard melee weapons. I got 1 or 2 bows, which is disappointing. I got 1 magical staff, and I got the 2nd magical staff towards the end of the game. So yeah, overall, like on the magic and range archery side, it was not great. On the melee side, I guess this kind of goes with what Titan Quest 1 was, which is like a melee-focused game. Let's see how the rest of the game falls out. The best side quest so far, though, was rescuing a talking jar, and the freaking voice acting in this game is amazing because the talking jar was super salty about being freed. He basically tipped me with attitude. He gave me a yellow shield I couldn't even use as a mage, right? Because as a mage, at least in the beginning of the game, you're using a 2-handed staff, so shield, impossible. Then as a ranger or as an archer, also 2-handed shield, or I should say a shield, impossible. So that was kind of disappointing, but again, I'll forgive the game because it is earlier. So class building is still the star, and I think this was the most exciting. If you watched the teaser and you read a bunch of stuff last year, is I got to my 2nd Shrine of Mastery towards the end of the game. So that means I ended up going with Storm or for like magic icy bows, and then I went with Warfare for bows. But even Warfare itself was kind of disappointing. Again, going back to, I could only see 2 options to sort of buff your archery. But again, later on in the game, I found out, oh yeah, there's other stuff from which you can use to sort of buff your archery bows. Barris saved my bacon more than once. The ability modifiers, this is what I was talking about just now a few minutes ago, means that when you have an ability, just like your right click of shooting a bow, right? If you're playing on a mouse and keyboard, you can modify that basic ability to do some really cool things. Like the first thing I ended up going with was, yes, as an archer, I want the mobs or the enemies to slow down when they're coming to me. So that's the thing that I chose, which is really cool. And I wish I could have figured that out earlier or had known about it earlier. But again, it is version 0.1. I've said this like 5 times already. I'm sorry about that. I just want people to understand I'm not criticizing the game. This is just something I wish could be explained earlier in the game. But again, this sort of like balances the development of like, how much stuff do you want to throw at a new player in a game? So it kind of makes sense that it sort of slowly drip feed us as we're playing Titan Quest 2. Performance is decent. Again, I was playing with my 9600 processor AMD, and NVIDIA 5700 or 5070. I can't remember what I'm talking about right now. There is a noticeable screen tearing though, and if you look at the Steam reviews of the game, you'll see that graphics or the overall performance is not great. So it's not smooth, but then again, it's totally playable. You can ignore the screen tearing. Again, this is me though. You might not be able to ignore the screen tearing. Inventory is generous, much bigger than in previous games, but you're still going to be spamming the vendor when you go in and just left click, sell, 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 because you have a lot of stuff and you pick up a lot of stuff, which is good. I rather have too much loot than too little loot. Again, towards the end of my like 1 hour and 10 minutes or so, there was tight combat, flexible builds. I can definitely see this being a multi-build game, especially with the ability to sort of mod your basic abilities and all your other stuff, and to choose different masteries and how you allocate skill points. So there's a lot of build diversity in this game. It's definitely worth a look. It's not something you're going to be sort of pushing 40 hours in August of 2025. No, you'll put in about 5 to 10 hours at the most, maybe, unless you're a dedicated ARPG player. And then at the end, you'll be like, okay, you're going to wait for the next big update for the game. But I love it. So smash that like button if you want a follow-up on the Griffin boss fight. And I will see you in the next video.